This guided tour of St. Lawrence Fortress concluded our Backroads cycling tour package in Croatia. The second half of the tour covered the walled city and old town in Dubrovnik.
To introduce you a bit to history of Dubrovnik in this area. First of all, Dubrovnik was established already in the 7th century by the Roman refugees from a small settlement Epidaurus that was approximately 20 kilometers southern from Dubrovnik. Epidaurus is the present town of Cavtat. 7th century's time, when Croats and Slavs are penetrating this whole area here, Romans are just weak at the time, they have to run. And I mean, you have to admit that here in Croatia we have the best climate in the world. Sea rich with salt, that was very important at the time for the food preservation. Sea rich with fish, all foods were everywhere around, so they could use that wood to build their homes, to build their ships. Of course, that Croats decided to stay here and to live here, and very soon, when I say very soon, I mean in the next 200 years, they established a common settlement here with the Roman refugees, and that is the birth of the present Dubrovnik as we know it today. Regarding the political situation here, Venice was constantly trying to destroy Dubrovnik. Why? Because of the sea trade. Dubrovnik was their main rival at the sea. People from Dubrovnik, they were fantastic shipbuilders, even better seamen, and very soon their ships sailed all over to Europe, later to India, to the New World. And with that sea trade, they become insanely rich. And when you are insanely rich, well, you can do whatever you want, of course. It's the same as today. So how such a small town state as Dubrovnik succeeds to stay independent for the more than 700 years? They were using famous diplomacy of Dubrovnik, but in fact that means that they were paying everybody around just to protect them against the Venice. So at the same time, they were paying huge tribute in gold to the Ottoman Empire, the Muslims, but they were paying huge tribute in gold to the Catholic Church, Vatican and Pope, Croatian Kingdom. At one point, they even rent their ships to Spanish king so he can attack Ottoman Empire, while they were paying Ottoman Empire to protect them against the Venice. So it was a win-win situation for them. They were always neutral, always in the middle, something like a medieval Switzerland, you know. The golden age of Dubrovnik was 15th, 16th and 17th century, and that is the time when all these fortresses, St. Lawrence, city walls got its present look. That is the time when they had enough money to attract Italian and Spanish architects to come here to Dubrovnik, to live here, to work here. I mean, Italy is just across the sea over there, and Italy was the center of the universe at the time, so that's why you will notice many Italian influence everywhere around Dubrovnik, but not only in our architecture, but also in our culture, in our food, in our language at the end, because Italy was the center of everything, and they were doing their best to attract important Italian teachers to come here to Dubrovnik. And again, everything was much easier when you were one of the wealthiest towns in the world at the time. 1 year is very important for Dubrovnik. In this tour, I'm not going to talk a lot about the years. Years are boring, but I have to mention 1667. That is the year when Dubrovnik was on the top of its power, top of its glory. But Dubrovnik was hit by a horrible earthquake. They calculate 6.8 Richter. City walls, fortresses survived, but inside of the town many palaces were destroyed. After the earthquake there was even more devastating fire inside of the old town. In fact, half of the residents were killed. So Dubrovnik was completely on its knees, but succeed to survive, succeed to rebuild, but never regain its previous glory and previous power. In fact, we take that year, 1667, as the beginning of the end of the Dubrovnik Republic. Years while you are here, but that's one of the reasons why we don't need gyms here, you know. Every day is a leg day for us. If Stairmaster exists, he is definitely from Dubrovnik, so... And after 7 days with them, I know that this is nothing for you. So, your hotel, Grand Hotel Imperial, it is one of the oldest exclusive hotels here in Dubrovnik. It has been built already in the 1897. And at the time, it was a kind of a miracle. They had their own generator, so that means electricity. Elevator was over there, hot water. But I also have to say that in this recent war in 1991, it had been hit 5 times directly by phosphoric bombs and was almost burned to the ground. They have rebuilt it, and it really looks amazing again. Dubrovnik is definitely very popular for movie productions from all over the world. 30, 40 years ago, well, people didn't travel around the world to visit movie locations. Today, it is completely new segment in tourist industry, and that is sometimes the only reason why people decide to visit particular location. And the Dubrovnik rules at that segment of the tourist industry because of the Game of Thrones show. Any Game of Thrones fan? Nice area where you can start. It was Blackwater Bay, that piers where Sunshine Shaver counting the ships. St. Lawrence was Red Keep, famous Walk of Shame stairs are inside of the old town. I mean, they filmed everywhere around the town. And as I said, people just went crazy about that show. Just over the night, approximately 50% of all the tours in Dubrovnik become Game of Thrones tours. And I have to say, although it is a great income, I have to say that we were a bit disappointed because, you know, Dubrovnik is a town with more than 1,000 years of history, and people were coming here not to see Dubrovnik, but to see the King Landing, not to see St. Lawrence Fortress, but Red Keep, and so on and so on. But on the other side, well, everything is about the money. So if there is demand for Game of Thrones, we will do Game of Thrones tours. What can I say? Even today, approximately 20% of all the tours are still Game of Thrones tours, and it is already 10 years from filming it. So, and from top of the hill, you will have the most amazing view, not only to the old town, but whole area around. That fortress that you see, that is Imperial Fortress built by the French army while they were here. Today it is a homeland museum dedicated to everything that was happening here in the 1991 and the war for independence. That fortress was last line of defense at the time. So if you are interested in the matter, definitely the best place for visiting. And this is well. You can have the best fortress in the world, but without your own source of water, without your streams, siege is finished in a few weeks. So there is just a small spring down that wasn't enough to supply the fortress, especially in summertime. So they were also collecting the rain from the roofs of the terraces. That was the ordinary system of supplying water around the town. They were collecting the rain from the roofs also everywhere around the town before they can build a water system. Okay, well done. You are inside of the fortress. So, this is St. Lawrence Fortress. It is one of the 2 fortresses that are not connected to the city wall system of Dubrovnik, but it was a strategic point to build a fortress here. It has been built on a 33-meter high rock, and it was built to protect Dubrovnik, to protect the western entrance to town, Pila Gate, and to protect Dubrovnik if there are any attacks from the seaside. Enemy is over there, so Venice is over there. What do you think? How thick is that wall? 6 feet, a bit more. 30-35 feet, 9 to 12 meters of stone, so even present weapons will have problems with that wall over there. But the opposite one, that wall facing the town, facing the city walls, is just half a meter thick, 2 feet. They didn't expect it to be attacked from that side, but from over there. And if somehow enemy entered the fortress, it was impossible, but if somehow that happens, they could easily destroy the fortress by cannon fire from city walls. Because the one who was controlling this fortress was controlling the town. So they would rather destroy their own fortress than allow enemy to control it. Because in the medieval time, everything was about controlling higher peaks around battlefields, around towns. If you are controlling higher peaks, you get better angle, better view. Most probably you will win the battle, or in this case, protect or destroy the town. Today, this fortress is one of the world-famous open-air stages for the Shakespeare dramas, and especially Hamlet. If you are elected to perform Hamlet here during the Dubrovnik Summer Festival, most probably you are going to be a world-famous actor one day. David Jacobi performed here. Daniel Day-Lewis, Oscar winner, performed Hamlet in the 1989. The parties, romantic dinner for two, that was happening also. You saw maybe when we were arriving, there were down some boxes with some plates, something. Obviously, something is happening this evening here. Here is the problem, when whatever is happening here, you have to bring everything in your hands here. So that's one of the way how to become a man in Dubrovnik. You just work for the St. Lawrence, believe me, after few tours up and down, with full hands, you are a man. Every year we have several celebrity weddings here. Mate Rimac is producer of electrical cars, hypercars, and at the time his car, Rimac Nevera, was the fastest hypercar in the world. At the time they also bought Bugatti, exclusive French car company, become a part of the Porsche company, and because of that they were making a huge marketing event here. And I was drinking coffee with my friends just in front of the old town when suddenly there was one chopper with one Porsche hanging from the sky. They parked the Porsche on top of the fortress, second chopper with one Bugatti, third with Rimac Nevera. I mean, you are here for just one night, but I think that you could notice that it is impossible to park your car anywhere around the town. Of course, that from these days we have a joke that the only thing you need to park your car is a chopper because St. Lawrence is always available as a parking. So. And it looks to me that your amazing guides have one small surprise for you here. So.
Thank you. Yes, we just wanted to say one final jubilee with you guys.
Yeah.
So Dave and I set up a little surprise for you all. This is why we had our backpacks on.
Sneaky, very sneaky.
It's been an awesome week. Paige and I wouldn't have wanted to end our season in Croatia any other way.
Yes.
Same time, Paige?
Yeah, let's do it.
We try to not let them go into the sea.
Yes. Are you ready?
It's recyclable, it can.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Jubilee, guys.
Jubilee.
You don't have to if you don't want to.
While we are here, I will talk a bit as a background sound. Is that okay? So from here you can see by yourself, in fact, why it was so important. Why it was so important that enemy wasn't controlling this fortress. This is the lowest terrace of the fortress. We are already above the city walls, above the roads of Dubrovnik. So if the enemy was here, of course, that they could easily destroy the town by 30 soldiers, several cannons. They could destroy the town if they wanted. So it's very interesting that the captain of this fortress and the crew they were always elected only for 1 month, never longer, because they were afraid of the tyranny in the hands of one man and one who was controlling the fortress. You can see, in fact, how rich they were when they were able to build such a town, such a wall that surrounds the town. Southern part of the walls, there is just one wall over there. It has been built in high cliffs, but the northern part, Nincheta fortress over there, the highest peak of Dubrovnik city walls, over there are 2, sometimes 3 walls, one in front of each other. By invention of the gunpowder, they have built second curved wall. If a cannonball hits that curved wall, it would just slide and cause much less damage than if it hits one straight, tall wall. Common question is when this fortress was built, when city walls were built, but there is no 1 year they have come and built this. They have strengthened the city defense for centuries, from the first day until the earthquake. After the earthquake, they didn't have any more money, power to do anything about their defense. They just wanted to survive after 1667. But this present look of this fortress, of the city walls, is so mid-17th century. So I definitely suggest you to walk around the city walls of Dubrovnik. Walking around Fort Royal on top of the hill, swimming areas everywhere around, bars, restaurants, Game of Thrones museum is there too if you are a fan. So place for chilling, just to have a drink, read a book, enjoy the nature. Peacocks are running around you. So if you want to go, the boat departs every 30 minutes from the old port. That's over there behind the bell tower, and you are at the island in just 15. So It's really, really close by. And I think that this is one perfect place for a group photo, maybe. And in early 2000s, Dubrovnik was a hometown for the Red Bull high cliff divers. There was a ramp over there, and those crazy men were diving into the sea. I'm trying that becomes a Backroads discipline already for a while, but no one is listening to me over there. Joking, of course, but I mean, it's incredibly high. I mean, and the only 20 persons in the world that can do that are those 20 men, I suppose, and probably the James Bond in the next movie. So I'm pretty sure they have some issues as children when they're doing something like this for a living. Those were all made from steel, from iron. These were catapult balls. The ships that were coming were made of wood, 30, 35 meters the most. The only thing you need to destroy those ships down there was the gravity if you were standing here, of course. If this heavy stone ball, you can hardly move the small one and look at the big ones down, hits that wooden boat down there. It's like in a cartoon, you know. See, the ball is coming, but you can't do a single thing about it. So, and that's why we are so good in football, you know. We start with this one always. So this is the mid-terrace, the biggest one. And you know, when something is happening here, dinner is always here. This terrace can easily accommodate 150, 200 persons. And that crazy party with the cars was here. Cars were on top, of course. Dinner was here, and the main party is always down at the basement. You know, after several glasses of wine, is definitely not a good place where you want to be then. So. And when they are performing Hamlet or any other theater shows here, actors are always here on top, and down there depends on the production, of course, and audience is in this corner and on this terrace here. So it is a small audience, 250, 300 persons the most. And I have to tell you, if you are ever in Dubrovnik during the Dubrovnik Summer Festival that take part from the 10th of July to 25th of August, try to attend any of these shows that are happening here, you know, no matter if it is in Croatian, English, with subtitles or not, just to be here is one really amazing experience. Dubrovnik Festival is definitely the ultimate season for us here in Dubrovnik. On the opening ceremony on that 10th of July, performers, actors, symbolically of course, are getting the keys of Dubrovnik. So that means that for the next 45 days they are in charge, and that means that everywhere around the town, every night, there is something is happening. Either under the stars, open air stages, either theater show, ballet, opera, classical concerts. So definitely the ultimate season, the 45 days that we all wait here the most every year. And from now on, no more climbing. We are going only down from this moment. This way, I would just ask you to take off your sunglasses here. Stairs are narrow and slippery, so please carefully while walking down.
If you enjoyed this video, check out the second half of the tour, which covers the Old Town Walled City in Dubrovnik, and other videos on our Croatia, Bosnia, and Hungary playlists. Like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any new content. Thanks for watching. Now get out and explore the world.